Welcome back, guys. This is Across All Arenas. I'm Ryan, and that's my bro over there, Andre. And woo! We made it!
We made it
We saw history.
twice.
We had a great time.
Yes, we saw history twice. It was such a great time. The experience, 10 out of 10.
Listen, the internet, the wrestling community on the internet, they say this is the worst WrestleMania ever or whatever. I plead the fifth. I don't think that at all. Yeah, were there some matches that were kind of like fillers, which I agree on. But as far as like, I don't know, I think the watching, obviously, we went there for both nights. And, I feel like there's always a difference when you watch it on TV and when you're actually there, right?
Yeah.
And the experience being there was just totally different from watching it on TV, and you just get that feeling, right? And obviously, I went back and watched it both nights, and it just doesn't what you the feeling being there just doesn't pop out on the screen, right? And the attendance, uh, night one was 61,000, night two was 63,000
Yeah.
roughly. And that little bit where Stone Cold was like, I need a recount. So he's going one, two. That was pretty funny. Uh, but man, that shit, Allegiant Stadium was packed.
Yeah.
Now people are gonna say that, oh, they're lying. Nah, no, they weren't. They weren't fucking lying. Maybe they might skew like maybe 1,000 off, but that shit was packed. I mean, from my perspective, from what we were in the 138 section, our whole row, our whole section, the whole 100 bowl section was full. The floor was full. Now, if they're gonna bitch about uh their seats behind the stage, yeah, because you can't see. It's just one little sliver of a section, and they added. This is the first time where I think they've actually had uh, fans on the stage,
That was
like an
dope.
entrance, and not only that, they had people on top of the stage. Like
Yeah.
it almost looked like a balcony. I've never seen that. So they went above and beyond as far as filling that place up. And bro, that I mean, you could say it yourself too. That place was pretty electric. There were some matches that were kind of, fillers. Um, I think, the New Day, the first night, that was kind of like a filler match. But I mean, the first match with Jey Uso and Gunter, that shit was lit, man. Everybody was on their feet. Everybody was yeeting. It was electric, to say the
Yeah.
least, in my
Yeah.
eyes. I mean, how do you
Yeah.
feel about it?
Oh man. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it back like on demand. Um, I probably will do it sometime like probably over this weekend. But yeah, you can't beat that feeling, man. Like, you know, I didn't really, react to everything. I didn't really shout at everything like when Joe Hendry came out, to face Orton in night two. I just thought that was like whatever, you know what I mean? So, um, but like when Steve Austin came out and when Cena came out and Punk came out, right? Like all these people that, like the bigger superstars, like, we were like everybody was on their feet, they were like recording on their phone, but like, yeah, like you said, like, yeah, that whole 100 section bowl was sold out. There was no empty seats.
There was no empty seats. Our whole row was full. Everything, because we were like close to the end of that section, so we could see everybody behind us. No seats empty, and then anything below us, no seats empty as
Full.
well. Everything was
Yeah.
full. Like they really like I showed you. I sent you that thing today where they did the numbers, and TKO is saying that this is the most successful,
Oh, yeah.
money wise, um, of WrestleMania, ever in
Yeah.
history. I mean, from selling seats, selling out the seats and merchandise, obviously, right? I mean, look, they got me,
I
they
have one
got you.
too. I have one too. I brought it to work. I already took it out once. I don't wanna go back to my room and take it out again. But it's not a WWE title. It's one of those, like, team belts. So they had
It
the
looks
Golden
sick, by the way.
Knights. Yeah, no, they have it's I have the Golden Knights one, and there's a Raiders one for the NFL. But yeah, I mean, they got to you, they got to me, they got to everybody. I mean, the merchandise they had there was, it was sick. Some of those
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
was I was this close to getting Roman Reigns gloves when I went. So I went
Oh,
back. I I went back
it's funny you
to
say that because I was about to do that too. Addie was like, when I took my son to the store, he was like, "You should grab the gloves, the Roman Reigns gloves." I'm like, "Ah."
I
I
was
was like,
this
as I'm like
close.
grabbing them, but then I put it back.
I grabbed it and I was like, these are overpriced workout gloves. I'm gonna just put this back. So, but yeah, I mean, just the event, WWE World, which I got to see a little
Yeah,
bit of,
that was cool.
um, the Superstore, just everything was, I mean, just like even just like the days leading up to it, right? Like the billboards, we've seen it.
The whole town was
Yeah,
immersed, I should say, in wrestling,
even Circa, one of the casinos here,
Circa.
Circa had
Circa
like a
had
whole like watch
Circamania.
party. Yeah,
Yeah, there were so many watch parties, and it really did bring in a lot of people into the city, and obviously that helps the tourism here. We also have the capacity to hold all those people, and everything is close by. Well, if you think about it, it is close by. But when you're
right.
staying at the Wynn and you have to go to Allegiant Stadium, and if you've never
Ah,
been to Vegas, it's on the opposite side. But like you might be like, oh, I could see it. It shouldn't be far. But we've met so many people that came into town. Um, we met a father and son from Montreal, right? And they were telling us how it was just a lot of walking, but
yeah,
it was just really cool to meet so many different people all across the world, and that
yeah,
came to Vegas for WrestleMania. Man, it was really special. I mean, the everyone was, for the most part, like, especially in our section, everyone was pretty cool. No one
yeah,
was, like, being, like, no dickheads or anything like that. Everyone was
yeah.
just really into
They're
being there
into
and
it.
being in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas is becoming a sports town, right? I mean, we got the NFL, we have NHL, we have the WNBA, and I know wrestling, WWE is not sports, but it's sports entertainment.
But we can hold those types of events
Right.
now,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean,
So
so we stayed at a casino, we stayed at Mandalay for like the first night. That that bridge going from Mandalay
that was insane, yeah.
to Allegiant, it was insane. I've never seen that. I mean, when Metallica came here a couple years ago, that was probably, like, the closest I can think of, but, like
It's funny you say that because it's like even the Raiders can't. The reason why I think there were so many people on that bridge is because a lot of the people that were here are not locals, right? Because Raider games, most of them are locals, and if there are any away fans, they cross the bridge, and that's about it. But as far as like this event itself, a lot of people that are out of town, they have to go that direction, right? So, but in my overall experience, that being my first WrestleMania, like, I had a ball. It was great. The first night, we both went to night 1 and 2. I brought my wife, the first night and then got to, that was really cool. And then the second night it was cool to bring my son, my 7-year-old son, and experience that with him too. So, as far as, like, the matches and all, we'll get into that in a few, but as far as the experience, man, like, I had a great time. Like, that was basically what I expected a WrestleMania to be,
Yeah.
the just over the top, the entrance, music, the the surprises, the live music from wrestlers and their entrance music. Like, we were all jamming to Cult of Personality when Living Color came out. Like, that was so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
So awesome,
I mean,
and I'm
it
glad that
they
we got to
don't
experience it.
yeah, I mean, they don't say that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for nothing. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I don't know if we're going to WrestleMania next year, because when you go to one Mania, you wanna go to every single
Yeah.
Mania, because now you got that experience in person, and now you just wanna go and go to whatever else Mania you can go to.
And it's cool to what it travels. Like, obviously, when it's in your town, you wanna try your best to make it, right? And that's what we did. And me moving forward, yeah, I would love to go to, other manias in different cities,
New
that I
Orleans,
can
42?
I hey, we never know, man. I mean, I love New Orleans. I was just there 2 Februarys ago. I can only imagine that's a cool place to be at
Yeah,
for WrestleMania. So, yeah, it's I'm not taking that out of the box, man. Like, it's definitely a possibility. We'll just see, it's a whole year from now, right? Where it's today's Tuesday, but we are at the start of a new season of WWE, right? Of, like, so we'll see where this new season takes us, man. But other than that, man, it was really fun to be at WrestleMania with you, and I also got to go to SmackDown with my family, and that was like the kickoff for me. And dude, I just had a great weekend. I, what was really special for me was just sharing it with my wife and my daughter and my my son, and we got to bond and just really just take it in, man.
yeah, for sure.
So the matches, night one, uh, as far as night one and night two, I think we both agreed that night two was the matches were a little bit better.
Yeah,
When not to take anything away from night one, but we'll go right into it. So night one, the first match was Jey Uso defeating Gunter by submission.
yeah,
That was very surprising to a lot of people, but to me, I thought it ended perfectly because if you look back at their meetings and throughout the months, or yeah, about weeks and months, Gunter was always choking out uh Jey Uso.
yeah,
So I was very surprised that people were like, "Ah, it shouldn't have ended like that. You can't do that to Gunter." It's like, no, it makes perfect sense. Like, you choke him out and you beat him with his own move that
right, right,
he that you've been using on him for the past few weeks, months. It made
yeah,
perfect sense to me. So I don't know why a lot of people were, you know, angry about that way how he ended. But I mean, before even he got to the submission, he did, I think it was 3 Uso
like 3 f
splashes,
yeah,
3 or
something like that.
4, honestly, like, he
There
did
was a
a
few of them
shitload.
before he got there, yeah.
Yeah. So
But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, to your point, like, because a usual match would end with, like, they would use their finishing move and all that, but, I mean, yeah, to your point, like, I think I heard somebody else say it too. It's like this kind of shows that like Jey Uso has more in his arsenal than just what he has. Like he's not just a person that jumps off the top rope or like does a spear off the ropes. He can submit people, and he's willing to use your move to defeat you. So it's like a crafty way of like, you're not really changing your character, but you're adding on to your character. So, and for the amount of years that he has left, however long he's gonna wrestle for, like I think it's a really good. I think it's a really cool time for him to really start exploring this, while he's still active.
Yeah, and it showed growth, right? And as a wrestler, you almost and a character, you do wanna show growth, and I think, when he won the Royal Rumble in January, a lot of people were, main event Jey Uso, can he handle it? And, that almost, definitely puts doubt in Jey Uso, like, man, and that kinda also played into the storyline, right? And then finally that one Raw when Jimmy got his, you know, ass whooped and bleeding and everywhere, it was cool that they put that in the storyline to, I was scared, but I'm not scared anymore because I'm gonna do this for my family. I'm gonna put everything on the line. Basically, when you don't, uh, care anymore about what's gonna happen to you and you have no fear, then that's gonna put fear in your opponent, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what kind of happened in that storyline, and as far as the match itself, you know, there has been times where Jay kind of botches, you know, in matches, but I thought the match was great. It opened up WrestleMania. Uh,
It was a good opening match.
it was a good opening match, definitely. I 100% agree. And once he won, everybody was yeeting. It was very electric when he won, man. So, uh, New Day won. That was yeah, that was one of those
Yeah, it was
matches where
okay.
it's like, eh.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill and Naomi. I was on the other side. I wanted Naomi to win, but you know, Jade Cargill. So you kind of had to, give her, put her over on that. So that match was pretty good too.
That finisher,
Uh,
that power bomb was
yeah,
sick. That was
and
sick.
Jacob Fatu and defeated LA Knight for the United States Championship. So that is Jacob Fatu's first title win with the company. And I- I'm not sure if you're aware of Jacob's like history, um, but I see it all over TikTok, and I'm so happy for him. Like this is a guy that was in jail. He didn't really know what he was gonna do with his life. There was a video where he's like, "I wanted to be a thug. Like I wanted to be a gangster. Like I was in the streets." And he was like, "I wasn't good at that." So that's why I was in jail. And, he cleaned up his act. He, you know, did the independent, wrestling, companies, and, now he obviously has connections because of his bloodline, but, it's really good to see stories like that for people that just never gave don't they're not willing to give up on themselves, and they finally succeed and he's on the biggest stage of a wrestling, moment, and look, he got his wrestling moment and he's a United States champion, and we'll see where that plays out for his character. Is he going to be doing solo? I love you.
Yeah. No, I mean, you love to hear redemption stories like that, and he deserves it, right? I mean, he was getting a big push. Like when we first started this podcast, he was already getting a push. So, for him to win a title this early on in his WWE career, it just shows. it just shows you how much they believe in him and how good he is in the ring. And you know, when he says all gas, no brakes, he really means
He
all
really means
gas,
it.
no brakes.
Yeah.
That he's from the Bay, that's their culture, that's what he grew up with. I've witnessed it myself. I've been up to the Bay a couple times. When they say shit like that, they mean that shit. Yeah, what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, but other than that, the match was, pretty entertaining as well. So big up to the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. El Grande Americano defeats Ray
Jesus
Phoenix.
Christ.
Obviously, this was a last minute match as far as Ray Phoenix being in it, because on SmackDown the other night, Rey Mysterio actually did get hurt. And as I mentioned, I was there, and I was like listening to people behind me, and they were like mentioning, oh, like, because Ray was actually by the staircase on their corner, and he looked like he was talking to Ray Phoenix because it was a three 3-man tag team, and so both Rays are talking to each other, and you can just tell like Ray Mysterio was like in pain, and
Throw
so
up
they
the
had to go.
X.
Yeah, so they had, yeah, throw up the X. I didn't see no X, but I did see the like the trainer
Yeah.
um come to Rey Mysterio, and basically it was just a two two versus 2 versus 3 at that point. I forgot who won that match, but I was too like fixated on seeing Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio. But once the match ended, they actually had to carry Rey Mysterio out, like 2 guys, and he was literally like, he was kind of like literally like hanging on the guys. Tiffany Stratton retains her title against Charlotte Flair. This match, I don't think I think I was
We
go.
stepped
Did we
out.
not? I don't remember
We
watching this
never
match.
watched the match. But apparently she lost, well, she didn't lose teeth, but she got a chipped tooth. Um, and apparently some of the match was, like, apparently better than what we thought, but I haven't looked back at the match myself,
Yeah,
so
I haven't.
I
I
gotta
gotta
look
watch it
back.
again. I did see people saying that they felt like, I don't know if there's actually real beef between Tiffany and Charlotte, or if it's just kayfabe, obviously. But
Yeah,
a lot of people were saying that they felt that uh, Charlotte was sandbagging the match a little bit.
I did see
So
that too.
I kind of want to see that on the broadcast. But personally, me, I was never really interested
We saw the
in this
entrances
his
though.
match.
The entrance
Yeah, the
Tiffany's
entrance was
entrance is
cool.
pretty dope.
Tiffany Stratton came out as like a Barbie doll. That was
Yeah.
cool. And then of course, all hail the queen. She always, does it pretty big with
She pulled up in a
her
car. I think
outfit.
it was a Maserati.
Was it? I can't even remember.
It was LA Knight or Charlotte Flair, but one of them pulled up in a Mozzie.
I think you might be right. Well, I know LA Knight did come out
Oh,
of
okay,
a
so that
car.
probably was LA
Yeah,
Knight and
yeah,
Charlotte, but she came in the car,
yeah.
but I don't know what it was.
So Tiffany retains her title. So we'll see what her next storyline will take us. And of course, the end of the night, the main event of night one, in my opinion, and I think as well as yours, basically saved night one.
Yeah,
Um, this was probably this was the best match of the night. Damn near what, almost 30. Oh, right here it says 32 minutes and 55 seconds. So that's how
yeah,
long that match was. Uh, so obviously we know that in WrestleMania the entrances are always pretty extravagant, longer than usual, especially with that long ass ramp that they got to walk to.
yeah.
Uh, but Seth comes out first, and he's wearing all black, has the flamethrower, and I was telling you this. like all of a sudden everything went black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm like thinking to myself, oh shit, did the flamethrower just like turn everything off? But when you watch it on the broadcast, it makes more sense. And that's the funny thing is that when you watch it on uh live at the arena and on broadcast, it's so like it just looks so different. Not only do you not hear any commentary, but it's just like everything else. So like whenever they show the replays, that's the replays that are being shown on TV. And
Yep.
then once the replays are done, they do a hard cut back to the
To the live feed
to the
or
live
whatever
feed
arena feed,
or
yeah.
whatever they're showing the talent or whatnot. So it was just so weird. So as far as Steph's entrance, when they went to black, all of a sudden he changes real quick, and now he's in white, and everything just lights up. Like that was pretty cool. At first, I'm like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is going on here?" But that was, and then of course, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, like it was great. CM Punk's the
Oh my
video
god, it's
package,
so
wasn't that
fucking
cool?
sick. Oh
That was
god.
sick.
They
The
played, This Fire. Oh god, everybody's singing to, This
Everybody
Fire
was singing
Burns.
it.
Oh,
But the cool
I
thing
thought you were
about
gonna come out with it too, but we all knew it
the
was
cool thing about that video package though was uh showing the younger CM Punk and
yes.
then rehearsing or saying the lines, and then the older Punk is, repeating it. Like that was pretty cool how they cut that up. And then of course, Living Color was there
I
playing
bet you I
Cult of
bet you he had
Personality.
that planned for so long
So long. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
because because he's waited for this moment for so long. So, like, he's, like, talking to his younger self and, like, yeah, I think out of the 3, well, Roman Reigns is pretty cool. We'll get to that in a second, but I think that was the best one because I think because everything just behind, Punk not main eventing for this long up until night 1 of this year's WrestleMania, you know, it was just it was like a really big full circle moment, right? He was in WWE for however long he was before he left, came back 7, 10 years or whatever it was, and, now he's main eventing night 1 of a well, he said something either he's like, "You could wrestle on a night 1 or night 4, buy 1, get 1
Oh yeah, yeah,
extravaganza,"
yeah.
something like that, but yeah, that was dope to see, and I recorded all of that on my phone 'cause I needed to watch it back, and I watched it back last night, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually pretty dope."
And everybody was singing that song, man.
Ah,
Everybody was
yeah.
singing it. So,
That brought
and then
goosebumps. I was like, I wanted to sing along too.
and then Roman Reigns, obviously his music just alone is very theatrical, right? And cinematic. But it was definitely different for him because not only, CM Punk walked out with Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns was by himself for probably the first time, right? In what, 5 years, 4 years, 4 or 5
Yeah.
years. And obviously the ending of this match is we're gearing for
Mhm.
a new role or a new, maybe not a different character, but just a different side of Roman Reigns. He'll probably still be the tribal chief, but he has no tribe right now. He's
Yeah.
alone. So
It's crazy because now I don't know if you saw, but I sent a video to you. It was when Cody was like, "Oh, yeah, Jay will betray you," and Jimmy, and then
Mhm.
Paul, and then Cody finishes off. I think he said something like, "You'll have a Roman, or you'll" I forgot what it was.
You'll just be a Roman without no
Without a
reigns.
reign. Yeah, and then you'll be a man without a tribe, and I was like, "Oh my god, that shit hits
Yeah, and then
different."
Paul is going to end up being another, advocate for somebody, and, it again, that's what we said, the story, the long-term storytelling is beautiful, and that's what the fans need to remember. They're trying to tell a story.
I
You
try to
can't
tell y'all,
just
man,
you can't just
long-term storytelling.
yeah,
That's what we're
man.
doing now,
Like
long-term
you
storytelling.
gotta remember you're watching a movie. Yes, it's wrestling, but they're trying to tell a story.
It's
As far as
scripted
the
for a reason. It's
yeah, it's
scripted
scripted for a
entertainment.
reason. The bumps are real, but the the match itself was great. We mentioned it was 32 minutes and 55 seconds. We kept like looking at our watch, like, oh, it's not done yet.
People kept
They still
standing
got like
up.
10
I
minutes.
looked at my phone, I was like, "Sit your asses down, it ain't done
But
yet."
but we were on point. Like we knew,
Yeah.
like, okay, something's gonna happen now. They uh they they all each had their moments getting at each other. You know, Punk and Seth, they go out of the ring, 2 trash cans. The other trash can was, like, lit perfectly, like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
you can use this, use this one." But, it was great, and then Roman took a he dove into, Punk
Over the
and
barricade.
Seth over the barricade. That was fucking cool.
That was cool to see in person.
Um, but, and then we get closer to the end, we see Paul Heyman the whole time hunched over on the staircase, and we're like, "Okay, you said it. You're like,
Yeah.
something's about to happen."
I was like,
And
"Ron, look at Paul.
yep,
He's gonna do so, just wait for
yep.
it, he's gonna do
And
so."
it was getting close to 8 o'clock too, because we're like, "Okay, it's 10 minutes before 8. Shit's about to get real."
Yep,
And Paul he gets the chair, and it's like decision making.
yep,
Gives it to Punk first, right? And then, um, low blows, fucking Punk and Roman's laughing like, "Oh, this is the plan the whole time." And then there's Seth, another um PTSD of, getting a shield chair shot. Looks like Roman's gonna do it while Seth's on the ropes. Seth and then low blow.
ah,
Right in the Roman jewels, the tribal chief jewels, and we predicted this, that
yeah.
Seth was going to win, and
Well, we said Punk was gonna win, but we we
oh,
we we said
correct.
Punk was gonna win,
We
but
wanted Punk to win.
we wanted Punk to win, but we knew where it was heading
Was
to.
going, yeah.
Yeah.
So Seth, aligns himself with, Paul Heyman as they I don't really know, it's manager, advocate. Well, I guess we'll kind of wait and see what happens over the, next few weeks of where that takes us. Flash forward to Monday night, at the end of Raw. Um, it looks like they're gearing up for like a new evolution type where at the end of Raw you have Roman and trying to attack Seth and Paul Heyman. CM Punk's there too. And then out of nowhere, Braun Breaker comes and spears Roman. And at the end, we see Punk. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We see Seth, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman as a new faction or alliance with each other. And it is very reminiscent of Evolution, where you had Triple H as the main, the leader. Then you had two young stars in Batista and Randy Orton, and then you had Ric Flair. I'm guessing Paul Heyman is like the Ric Flair type character
Just
without
not
the
the
wrestling.
wrestler. Yeah,
Yeah,
without the wrestling.
and then Breaker is the young up and coming guy that they want to start pushing. And I don't think it's done there yet, man. I think there's probably one more person,
There
or
probably
I don't
is.
know, maybe they'll do it differently and they'll add a few more, like, but I definitely see us, maybe not too soon, but Backlash, I'm seeing a CM Punk Roman Reigns tag team
Oh,
match
yeah. Yeah,
against
I've been seeing that around too.
Seth and Braun. I mean, right off the bat when I saw that happening, oh, I'm like, oh, they're gearing up for this. So, all right. So night two. Uh, I felt like night two was, as far as the collective of matches, it felt like they were the better matches.
Definitely the
Um,
better card.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, right off the bat, the opening match is the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky defeats Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, and
Matches at
those
night.
girls,
Easy.
those girls put on a match. Like they were
Easy
so good.
matches at night. 5-star, all
Yeah,
around. So fun to watch. So fun to watch. I mean, you had speed, strength, agility, all
high
compacted into
flying,
one. High flying,
like that
nonstop action. It
that
was oh, so good.
that one that one point where I think it was Rhea and Io were on the top rope facing us. I actually got video of it where I don't know what was happening, but basically Rhea uh reversed it and like Io hit the pole and you heard
Oh,
that shit
yes.
like
Yeah.
smack. That like I'm like, damn. That looked like that shit hurt.
I think she hit her hand first before her head got there, which honestly was the best thing because that's safety. But yeah, no, we heard that. We heard that shit. And like, was that her head or her hand that hit that?
And don't and Bianca, like, I know it's part of her body, but don't you feel like the hair, like, that's almost like a damn weapon, man. And
Dude,
when she
it
hit,
should
was
be
it
it should be
Rhea that got
yeah.
hit? You heard it. You
Dude,
heard that shit
hearing
rip.
it hearing it on TV and in person are 2 different things.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they mic up the ring, but
Yeah.
wow.
But you
Like,
could hear it without the mic, you
yeah,
know?
that's the scary
So,
part, like, she is really whipping that hair. Oh
it looks like it
god.
hurts, man. The way that this match ended, though, was great where,
Yeah,
uh was I keep trying to remember the match now. It was I think it was Bianca who did the KOD on Rhea,
yes. Yep,
and then they were on the close to the top rope, and then Io comes
Io
out of
Sky.
nowhere and does a
Sh
splash
Yeah,
and gets him, and then, 1, 2, 3, and it was over. That
yeah.
was that was awesome. So, that
Dude, I
match
have
was
goosebumps
definitely
just
5
thinking
star.
about that match again, it
Yeah,
was so good.
5 star
Ah, 5
all
star all
all over the
around.
board. The Sin City street fight, I felt like it was gonna be something totally different. I thought it was gonna be like they're gonna go fight on the strip. Like that would be pretty fucking cool. Like go fight if they were fighting on the bridge, like to Mandalay Bay on Hacienda,
Other
like that would have
Hacienda
been
Br
so fucking cool. But basically it was just like it was just a anything goes type match. And there were obviously tables involved and uh s-
Listen, man, it was too hot that day for them to
that's
go out,
true.
okay? Like, them it was too warm, the concrete was hot, the street, they would've burnt. They would have more bruises on from the street than from the
Yeah.
match.
So it was a
That's
it was
how
a
hot it
decent
that
match. Drew McIntyre winning. All right. The fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. I was running around trying to get a new soda for my son because the Sprite had no carbonation anymore. So I ended up having to go all the way from the 100 to 300 because
Yeah, you took a
yeah.
while.
Well, first like I kind of got lost. I'm like, wait, where's this place again? I'm trying to find. And
Oh
then
my
I ended
god.
up finding but I was up by the concourse where the torch is, so I kinda saw a little bit, and
Okay.
that was a pretty cool view. But, I don't really remember much of this match, but except, uh, hearing Dirty Dom, chants and
The Dirty
He
Dom
was finally
chants.
getting over, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Finally wins his first singles title, and rightfully deserving so. And he's already
It's his so it's his first with the main roster. He's
oh
won
yeah,
one
with
in
NXT, yeah,
NXT,
yeah, the North American, right?
but we don't count
Yeah, yeah,
NXT because that's
correct, correct.
NXT. So he's won 2, but this is his first with the main roster. And but I mean, like you said, like rightfully, he's rightfully deserved. And I mean, to go from being booed for like 2
Yeah,
years to now getting
but isn't
over
that crazy?
organically
Isn't that
too. Yeah.
crazy how wrestling fans are just like, one day we're gonna boo you, and then the next day we're gonna cheer you. Like, I mean, it happened.
But that's John Cena's point. We'll get to that, but that's John Cena's point.
Exactly. The Randy Orton match, that was one of the surprises, for the night 2. Originally it was supposed to be KO, but he, I believe has a real, I think it was a neck injury. And,
It's like a
I
neck injury,
I
something
thought
like
me and
that.
Addie thought it was gonna be Solo because he had to have a match, so I thought he would,
Yeah.
I guess it would kinda make sense, but not, uh, but, this, surprise guest was, TNA's, heavyweight
I
champion,
believe in Joe
Joe
Hendry.
Hendry. You say his name and he will appear, and that was a cool moment.
Apparently, a lot of people were saying his name heading going into WrestleMania. But no, yeah, I mean, yeah, good for him. And I was saying to you too when he was coming out, like I never thought I'd see TNA not only just in WWE but in WrestleMania to have any TNA champion in WrestleMania. That's fucking crazy. I grew up knowing that WWE and TNA were like arch rivals, and now for them to come together all these years later and like have like a
Yeah.
big partnership.
Well, that also helps
Oh
that,
my god.
WWE is, I don't know if they own them, but they have a partnership.
No, it's
So
a
it's like, they
partnership.
cross,
Yeah.
you know, opportunities. Uh, I was listening to John Cena on Pat McAfee yesterday, and,
Yeah.
then simultaneously, there was also an interview with Joe Hendry, and I f you know, Cena was talking about Joe Hendry and how he was happy for him to have his moment, his WrestleMania moment, and the fact that, just hang in there, there'll be more. Going back to Royal Rumble, Joe Hendry also made an appearance in the Royal Rumble, and prior to
Yep.
his, and he got a pop too. People were excited for
Yeah.
that, but Joe Hendry, prior to the WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, Joe Hendry wanted to get advice from, John Cena, and so, he gave his advice, and basically Cena just says, "Just be you." It's almost kinda like what we're seeing now of, like, his heel, where it's like, "I'm being me. I'm not doing anything for you guys. I'm doing me. This is me. You don't know who I am,
Yeah.
but this is me." And so, basically, long story short, he's just telling Joe Hendry, "Just go and be yourself." And,
Yep.
he did that, and, WrestleMania, he was himself too. That's kinda my first time actually seeing Joe Hendry, like, in a singles match, and, like, it's just
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
that the video, the fucking, I'm sorry, but Joe Hendry, he looks like a Jake Gyllenhaal, like, a taller version of Jake Gyllenhaal,
The younger version of Jake Gyllenhaal.
but, no.
Listen, there were grown men singing and waving their hand. I'm like, Joe, sit your ass
Oh,
down, bro."
it was
Like,
great. That was a cool WrestleMania
yeah, but
moment.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like we said earlier, like, people get into it, man. Like, you're in there in person, you get into it. And listen, I could shit on all these grown 40-year-old men, 30-year-old men, waving their hands side to side and singing these songs, but it's part of the experience, man. But yeah, I mean, that's what Joe Hendry brought. And, like you said, it was just being himself. He did the little shot before he got RKO'd and all that. And, Randy played along with it too. So, it's a WrestleMania moment. I know it was a last minute match, but it was like more of a WrestleMania moment for Joe Hendry, and rightfully so. I mean, he's transcended, not just WWE and TNA, but just wrestling. I mean, he's wrestling in two different promotions, mainly TNA, but like, he'll pop up and do WWE stuff once in a while. Like he had a run in NXT for a minute. So yeah, I mean, good for Joe, man. Good for Joe.
I'm pretty sure we'll see a little more of him, in the future. The Logan Paul and AJ Styles match, yeah, yeah,
Skip.
skip.
We
All
don't need to
right.
talk about that. Skip.
The one of the surprises was, well, setting up the story. Lyra Valkyria, and it was supposed to be Bailey versus Raquel and Liv Morgan for the women's tag team championship. But I think it was the night one, in the backstage, someone attacks uh, Bailey, and we don't know who it is, so we have to have a new partner for Lyra. And I think going into night two, we were discussing like it's probably Becky Lynch, because you called it
Yeah.
Saturday. No, was it Friday? It was Friday night
It's
when we
Friday
went to
night.
WWE World at like 10 o'clock at night. You saw a banner of Becky Lynch
Becky
on there,
Lynch.
and you're like, bro, they're not just gonna put her on there for no reason. And you called it.
Yep.
And then as I
Called it.
looked more into it, there's definitely rumors that she was gonna be, and she was already here in Vegas anyways, right? So
Yeah.
that was a cool surprise. And the funny thing is, going back to 2021 for SummerSlam, she just had
Oh,
a
you told me
baby,
this.
and she's been gone for a while during that pandemic time. She came back at Allegiant Stadium to squash Bianca Belair, and that was like a 25-second match. And they gave her the
Yeah.
belt back, and then years later they kind of do it again where she wins. She makes a surprise guest appearance, wins the title, the tag team title with Lyra Valkyria. And I mention to you, like, I felt like I said, like, I feel a heelish coming,
You did
and
say that.
I thought it was gonna
You did
happen
say
that
that.
night at WrestleMania. But moving forward to Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, they somehow get her, Liv Morgan and Raquel get a rematch for the belts, and they actually win, and Becky loses, and lo and behold, she turns heel and beats up Lyra Valkyria, one of her, her country women, I should say. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. Um, and then the main event of night two, the worst main event I've ever seen in my life. Before we get into that, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed title, and John Cena comes out wearing black, no Titantron video, and all it just says,
Just a name.
it was like Helvetica, a font. As a graphic designer, I kind of know and it was in bold.
It did
It was
look, yeah,
Helvetica.
it was bold. Helvetica knew
Yeah,
bold.
it was Helvetica bold. And it just says John Cena. Very,
So good.
very
It was so good.
different of what we know of John Cena. So
So good. I loved it.
the
I
Cody's
loved
intro
it.
was kind of weird to me with the motorcycles. Like, I didn't
I
get
didn't get the
that,
motorcycles
honestly. I'm
too.
gonna be honest. I didn't understand that.
I don't know if it was supposed to represent Evil Knievel, because
Okay.
Evil
All right. Yeah.
Knievel, like,
Yeah. Okay.
he like jumped over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it
yeah.
was he jumped over
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
fountains or
yeah, yeah.
whatever here
That's
in
Vegas.
Vegas.
So okay. I guess
Yeah,
now
but I don't know, but
it
it
makes
makes
sense
sense.
now that we're
That's what
yeah.
makes sense to
But
me.
when we were there, it didn't make sense. We're like, what the fuck is this?
No.
So, but I'm glad you brought that up, because now it just makes perfect sense. Evil Knievel, Las
Yeah.
Vegas. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
So, the beginning of the match, John Cena is definitely we gotta remember, John Cena is not the same he's not trying to portray the same person or his style of wrestling like how he has for the past 20 years when he was, this, you know, massive baby face or whatever you wanna call him at the time of his prime. It's a different style, um, very heelish, where the first, like, 5 minutes, he's stepping out of the ring and trying to catch his breath, right? So and then they finally, go fight each other, and we get close to the end. They're exchanging we probably saw, like, 3 AAs, 2 crossroads, both of them kicking out of each other, out of their finishers, and then Fiend hits. And, I was telling you, like, I'm, like, waiting for that song to fucking drop.
Yeah,
It just never did.
never dropped.
And, as far as the way that this match started and ended, I get what they were trying to do. Well, at first, uh, what's Travis Scott's interferes, goes in the ring, tries to punch Cody. That didn't work out. He gets crossroads, pushes him out of the ring, and then here's, John with the title belt, hits him in the head. 1, 2, 3. And I mentioned to you a lot, in the the internet wrestling community is very pissed off or not very happy with it. But it's like, what did you expect?
Yeah.
Honestly,
He said he was gonna ruin wrestling.
exactly. It's part of his promo. It's part of the storyline. We knew exactly, like, maybe we didn't think he was actually gonna do it, but I don't know. John Cena's the type of person, like, you're gonna listen
I
to.
thought he was gonna do it after he won the title, because that's how it sounded like, but I guess it made sense to go into WrestleMania and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna ruin wrestling now. Here we go." Like, I mean, the Titantron, there is just his name, right? And, the way they finished, you know yeah, because he never used he didn't even submit the guy. He didn't even submit Cody Rhodes. He didn't put him in a
Well, he
STF, or
did,
did
but it
he finish
wasn't
him with
locked
the
in as, like, how he did it with CM Punk at Elimination, and
Sure.
that actually, a lot of people were saying, like, that would have been a better finish where, you know, Cody passes out. Um, that's what people were saying, but,
I
the
don't know.
I feel
Now that I think about it, I don't
yeah,
know if I
the
like
the way
that.
that it ended was, in my eyes, perfect because John Cena's not trying to play by the rules anymore. He's trying to break them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
No, and we said too, like, when we were leaving the stadium, it's like, we were mentioning that, his character is like an anti-hero type thing, because he didn't feel like a true heel. This match established himself as a true
yeah,
heel. And I mean, like, last night, Monday Night Raw, he had Mark, I wanna say Mark Chanot because that's his actual name, but his wrestling name, I think, is Mark Nash. So, he had him come up, John wrote a script, and it was the first time that he actually acknowledged that he is the greatest of all time. So, that right there was like, "Okay, he's a
for
heel."
sure. And he is. We got to remember, first he's finally holds the record for the most world titles in the industry, number 17. Finally surpasses Ric Flair. And if people are, and so out of all the 17, the 16 were when he was a somewhat babyface, and then that one is where he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And hitting someone with the belt is heel 101. People
Yeah.
got to remember that. if he's gonna play the heel, he's gonna do heelish things.
If you expect him to be a heel, you want him to do
Yeah.
heel
So I don't know why
things.
people are like, "Oh, that was a stupid ending." I mean, look at Ric Flair, and I mentioned this to you. Ric Flair was known as the dirtiest player in the game. For most of his
Yep.
career, he was, a heel or a bad guy. Um, and it just, I don't know. It's just people are just not thinking sometimes. It's like it makes sense to me. Now, I do agree that the match where it fell flat was when Travis came out and The Rock didn't come out. That's something I agree with the community because you built this story where The Rock wants Cody's soul but doesn't show up at the biggest stage when we kind of needed him to do that. And it just that where and then you send Travis Scott and he does the deed, but it just that's where it fell flat. I don't think maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Maybe most people are just mad about the whole Travis Scott thing and they're not really mad about John Cena actually winning the title the way he did by hitting Cody in the head with the belt. Maybe that's not exactly where people are angry about, but I feel like people are definitely angry about the whole Travis Scott coming out, which in an extent I agree. And it was missing The Rock for sure. But you know,
But I feel like a lot of people were expecting The
yeah, I
Rock.
was
I
too.
mean, I was too, but, like, we I mean, we've said this a lot too, like, the more times people expect something to happen, most of the time it's not gonna happen. And he was on Pat McAfee today on, this Tuesday, and, he said something like, "I didn't wanna take the shine away from Cena when he's 17 or, for Cody to, be outshined like that." So, I mean, if he means that, I don't
Well,
know,
and
but, I mean, he said
prior to
it.
that, he said that Ari Emanuel, the head of TKO, reached out to him and said, "We need your help to sell tickets." So if that was the case,
Yeah,
then there was never really a long term, like you said, there was never a long term story telling for that, and
yeah,
maybe there is, or maybe there isn't. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. But as far as I think you and I have both agreed that John was going to win regardless because it was definitely
yeah,
time for Cody to take a little bit of a break for a whole year of
yeah,
him putting the company on his back. He deserves rest. And people are forgetting
yeah.
that like he has a family too. And wrestling is 365 days out of the year. Those guys, they work and girls, they work hard and they traveling,
They put their bodies on
yeah,
the line,
traveling
like, they take
not
huge
not only the
bumps,
bums, but the traveling, and they're traveling to country or state to state, country to
different time
country,
zones.
going overseas. And remember, prior to WrestleMania, they were overseas for like 3, 4 weeks, you know?
Yeah, they were doing their European
So,
tour, yeah.
people gotta remember that, like, Cody's gotta rest too, and I think that's where it different from Triple H and Vince McMahon because Vince, like, I saw a video of Randy saying that, like, he was beat, he was tired, he wanted to go home, and he
Yeah,
asked Vince McMahon, for time off, and Vince said, "No, like, I just need you." And, what's Randy gonna
yeah,
do? And I think this is what separates Triple H and Vince, where Triple H understands that time off is important too, especially with your family and stuff like that. And
yeah.
so, but overall, man, like wrestling, the WrestleMania was incredible. I had a
Yeah, the experience is 10
yeah.
out of 10, like, you can't beat the experience, like, from the event itself, WWE World, the Superstore,
Let's not
and I
talk about the
mean,
Superstore
yeah, I
anymore,
mean,
man.
we're
Taking all my money.
I saw my bank account today. I cried. I was like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this much on my credit card. I've never seen this much being posted on my credit card." I was like, "God."
All right, as we close this episode, we have Addy here. We got to get his experience,
His
his
takes.
takes on the WrestleMania weekend. So, Addy, did you have fun this past weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your well, you went to SmackDown too. So, what was your favorite part of SmackDown?
Mm,
Come on, you're talking. I'll no, I'm gonna hold it.
um, Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh yeah, you do like Motor City Machine Guns. He was singing that song. I'm like, I don't even know their song. As far as WrestleMania, did you have fun at WrestleMania? You got to come over here. Oh my goodness, kids, man. He's holding the belt.
Oh,
Be
man.
careful.
Oh, he wants the
All
belt.
right, just show the belt. Come on.
That's funny.
Bro, you know, it was an awesome experience, like, we mentioned, and kind of sad that it's over, but looking forward to
The withdrawal is real,
Yeah.
man. I went to work. The withdrawal is real.
so
I was like, "Oh, man, that sucks. I have nothing to look forward to now."
I know, right?
and- Oh, man.
But yeah, man, I'm sure the wrestling fans have kind of left, if whoever is still staying for NXT, but it seems like
Oh, yeah, that's right.
NXT is
NXT's
here,
tonight,
yeah.
I
But it
forgot.
seems like WrestleMania has finally come to a close. But
Man,
man, it was great, just recapping and reacting, on the matches, and just telling our experiences, and all the cool people that we met when we were on the strip at 12 at night, meeting everybody.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're gonna end it here. Can't wait to do it again, if we ever do it again. So
New Orleans,
yeah, New
42.
Orleans. Let's try to see if that happens. But yeah, man. We're gonna cut it here. I'm Ryan, and that's Andre. This is my son, Addy. Say bye. This is Across All Arenas, and we'll catch you guys next time.